guys, we have all seen clickbait. Clickbait is everywhere. Most people hate it, everybody clicks it. And the problem is that major media publications continue to use it because it works. But are there dangers associated with clickbait? Is it ruining the population? Is it creating distrust among the people? I don't trust the government. Do you trust the government? I don't trust CNN. Do you trust CNN? No, you don't. And if you do, we'll stop right there. The problem is clickbait works because it appeals to emotion. Are there circumstances where clickbait is okay to use? And if so, how do we create clickbait so that it gets you a whole bunch of views on YouTube? There's a right way to do clickbait and there's a wrong way to do clickbait. We want to make sure that you stay right in that line. Right on that line. You got to walk that thin line, babies. I don't know why I called you babies, but you got to walk that thin line, all right? Tag some channels, you guys. Drop it in the comments below. What are the channels that you watch that clickbait the best? Let's dive in. All right, guys. So to discover what kind of clickbait is the most effective, impactful, and also has the least amount of risk attached to it, meaning it won't get you a whole lot of backlash if you use it, let's first start by taking a look at the history of clickbait. Clickbait has a rich history in media. They were lopping people's heads off, painting pictures of it, throwing it in textbooks. I remember as a kid, you guys, that's the stuff I always wanted to see when I was going through my history books. I was flipping through the freaking French Revolution trying to find the guillotine pictures because that's what I wanted to see. It is attractive to people. It gets people stimulated emotionally. I'm not weird. I'm not a sociopath or psychopath. I was a 10-year-old kid who just wanted to see some heads rolling from the guillotine. Sue me. Don't, please. I don't have a good attorney right now. One of the things that I really like doing when I'm looking at old-fashioned marketing, clickbait, news articles, I just like dissecting things and trying to figure out what the advertisers were thinking when they created this content. Take a look at this. Here's some clickbait. Now, scientific evidence on effects of smoking.
Medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group have smoked Chesterfield for an average of over 10 years. After 10 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses.
Gotta make sure them sinuses are taken care of, y'all. This was an advertisement in a magazine. Cigarette companies were clickbaiting people, trying to get them to buy more of their cigarettes. And medical professionals doesn't even say doctor, it says medical specialist. What the does that mean? Okay, here's another one. These are great. It's not necessarily clickbait, but it is also at the same time because we're trying to sway public opinion with a headline. As your dentist would recommend Viceroys. Okay, how about this one? More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. This is mind-boggling. You guys, what makes me laugh about this is that, I mean, this was like the 50s, right? 50s, 60s, 70s, like doctors were promoting cigarettes as a healthy way of life and a healthy activity. Just go out there with your friends, take a puff on your cigarettes and enjoy lung cancer together. The reason I laugh about this, you guys, is because in 2023, we still haven't figured this out. We don't smoke cigarettes as much as we used to, but we're putting stuff in our bodies that is not going to be healthy for us. In 50 years, we're going to be like, what the freak were we doing? All right, let's take a look at some more clickbait. Just Google misogynistic old ads if you want to take a look at these ones. These ones are funny. Darling, don't worry. Oh, no, sorry. Read right, Scott. Don't worry, darling. You didn't burn the beer. That's funny. Totally sexist. Massively offensive. Wow. You mean a woman can open it? It's a freaking ketchup bottle, bro. Like, what? As you can see, guys, clickbait has been used throughout history. Actually, I was looking through some old newspaper headlines, and really the headlines that they were promoting, really to get the clicks, were the things that were like super violent. Headless body in a topless bar. That sounds very interesting. That's an interesting one. Girl eats 4,000 washing up sponges. What does that mean? As you can see, guys, clickbait has been around forever. Now it's just taken a new shape. If you guys haven't noticed, like BuzzFeed is one of the absolute worst at creating clickbait. They do so much clickbait, but it's also so super interesting. And I know why they do it. It's because it gets people to click and it drives ad revenue and it drives page views. And it just gets the eyeballs where they want them and keeps them on their websites. That is what is incredibly useful about clickbait. But everybody's seen something like this. This is a carousel at the bottom of the Blaze article. The Blaze does this all the time, super annoying. This one right here. Jorge Garcia is so skinny now and looks like a model. Well, just a quick Google search will show you that he looks virtually the same that he did when he was on Lost. Even though he's lost 100 pounds, congratulations, that's awesome. Not being critical of his weight at all. I'm only being critical of the title of the article. He technically can be a model. Anybody can be a model. But when they say skinny and model, it paints a picture in your brain of somebody like Fabio or David Gandy or Tyson Beckford. I don't know any of those guys except for Fabio because he was so cool in the 90s. Anyway, you get the point. It paints an image in your brain that you then have to click on in order to fact check, in order to see this, because it's a remarkable transformation. Anybody who knows who Jorge Garcia is, it's like he was on Lost. He was the big guy. He was the heavy guy. And so to see him looking like a skinny model, I gotta see that. That's clickable. And that's what clickbait is all about. Here are the problems with clickbait. Number one, it creates distrust. People who get duped by clickbait feel stupid, and then they start to distrust their go-to media outlet. I mean, how much trouble was CNN in the 2020 election? There were so many things that were covered up or misquoted or misclaimed or exaggerated or sensationalized that they were called out for. Now nobody trusts them except for a small minority who still loves their CNNs, loves those double N's in the C in front of it, if you know what I'm saying. The other problems is it creates an emotional impact. You can influence the world's population by simply having a headline that triggers a negative emotion. You look back at the Trump presidency, and every freaking day there was a sensationalized headline about something that he did, and then within a couple of weeks, it would be proven wrong. So again, massive distrust, and it sways people emotionally. How divisive was the 2020 election because of what the news media had done to Donald Trump? Now, I'm not saying his hands are clean, obviously, like I'm not taking a position there, but my point is there were a lot of things that were taken out of context to sensationalize headlines and sway public opinion. That is the problem with clickbait, and that's why people just don't trust the news anymore, honestly. The other problem is that 8 out of 10 people will only read the headline of an article. They won't read the article in full. They base their opinions off of the titles of articles, not the context of the content, baby. That's why when a news article questions if extraterrestrials are invaded the United States because a Chinese balloon flew over and people were convinced that it was a UFO, people believe it.
Heck yeah, man, it was the aliens.
I read an article that said it's extraterrestrials. It was the aliens.
I don't know. Now that we've gone through the history of clickbait in the news media and throughout history, let's talk about clickbait on YouTube. Clickbait is one of the most common ways to get people to click on your content. And for good reason. It works and it draws curiosity. You guys have even heard me talk about on this channel how to use thumbnails to create curiosity, to get people to want to click or to get them to ask themselves a question when they see your thumbnail, so that way it drives more views to your content. I firmly, wholeheartedly believe in that. Now, there is good clickbait and there is bad clickbait. It used to be the case back in 2009, 2010, 2011, when you could just throw an image of a beautiful woman on a thumbnail and show a little bit of, people would be more likely to click on that. Now, the YouTube algorithm and AI has since been able to prevent that by looking at your thumbnails through AI and developing a analysis of what is actually in that thumbnail and if it is congruent with what is in your content. And so YouTube prevents that type of clickbait from happening. But what other types of clickbait are there? Well, there's sensationalism. There are things that people will overemphasize in their thumbnails that they did not actually do in their videos. For example, if you have a pizza slice that is this big and in reality it was this big, that is clickbait. That is what's going to get people to distrust you and not want to click on your content. We have finally come to the point of this video when we can discuss how to create clickbait that is actually effective. Now, again, you guys, it boils down to a couple of things. Creating curiosity, that is what's most important. Get that audience member to ask themselves a question and they will click. Like I just said. I just said that like 10 seconds ago, like 30 seconds ago. The biggest thing that you need to do is deliver on your promise. So if you want to have a highly clickable video, create content that is highly clickable. You want to make the world's biggest pizza like Eric. I didn't watch it. Then actually do it. If you want to crush a car with a hydraulic press like Mr. Beast, then actually do it. If you want to have the deepest wedgie of all times, then actually do it. That nobody's made that piece of content yet. But hey, you guys, if you want to make that piece of content, Go for it. That's one on the house. Look at what's working on other channels. Don't be afraid to be creative. The more creative and out of the box you are, the more likely it is that your content will get clicked. But don't feel like you have to cross the line. Don't ever cross the line, because that creates distrust in your content and will lead to people not wanting to actively engage with you. Cool? Does that sound good? Once again, leave it in the comments below who your favorite clickbaiters are. I want to hear who you got. And on another note, if you guys need YouTube services and you want to work with us, there's a link down there in the description below. Love to chat with you. It was a good one. It was a good day today, you guys. All right, watch this video right here, this video right here. See you on the next one.